said that the services of the coaches should be also partly attached to the association so that you can make them responsible towards the services of the coaches and towards the productivity of the coaches. Whether a particular coach is doing a fantastic job or not only the SAG or department will tell you, the association also should be in a position to tell you, because they are the people, they are the biggest people who utilize the services of the coaches.
Usually, were the associations complaining to the department that they are not getting the coaches, that's why they haven't been able to perform, to prepare or to produce champions?
No, I don't see any relevance in that. A majority of associations have been utilizing the services of the majority of coaches. I would go further, one step further, and say that if they're not misusing, they're overusing. Some of the associations have been overusing the services of the coaches, so much so that many a times the coaches will not have opportunity to go to their centers because they are either engaged in training the state teams, which go for sub-junior, junior and senior nationals and zonals, or they are engaged in conduct of the events for a particular A or B or C association.
Right. But if you look at the past, apart from a few associations who have brought medals at the national level regularly, most of the associations from these 40-odd recognized sports haven't been able to make an impact. What could be the reason?
The fundamental reason is sports nowadays is a full-time job. Running any association is a full-time job. The secretary or the president, more particularly the secretary, who is supposed to be the technical person in the association, has to slog equally along with the boys and girls on the ground. One is expected to spend at least 8 to 10 hours, and therefore I have said it's a full-time job. You may like to find out how many secretaries of the various state sports associations do that at this juncture. So whosoever would do, for example, people like Taekwondo, I can tell you about Advocate Raju Mangeshkar, who spent that kind of amount, about 7-8 hours on the Taekwondo match, and therefore his coaches are able to perform to their optimum level. His boys and girls are able to perform at the optimum level because he is there on the side wielding a stick all the time, trying to know what a particular boy or girl is doing, how many days he is absent, what is the graph of his or her performance, and he personally sets the goal for these boys and girls, and therefore you will see in the last 4 or 5 national games and the last 3 Lusophonia games that we have had, our Taekwondo boys and girls have brought a lot of laurels.
So now with the national games coming up in Goa, these associations will have to really try and become as professional as they can, isn't it?
It is high time the associations put their act together. It's a Herculean task, and it just couldn't be left to the SAG or sports department. In this, everybody will have to converge. The State Sports Association have a huge role to play. Whatever number of medals we win or we do not win, the first responsibility would come on the association and possibly later on the Sports Authority of Goa, sports department, parents and the athletes. So therefore the associations need to be sensitized. The Sports Authority of Goa and the government has realized this importance, and they have very rightly fixed a day-long brainstorming session with the State Sports Association to devise a mechanism to ensure that we get maximum medals. I must tell you that whichever state has conducted the national games so far, barring maybe 1 or 2 cases, the hosting state has emerged first in the medal tally. So with that you can know the task that is cut out for the state of Goa. That's the government of Goa, the State Sports Association participating. Yes, there is Goa Olympic Association, there is State Sports Association, there is Sports Authority of Goa, there is Sports Department, the parents of the athletes who will be chosen for the national games teams as probables, and then the athletes per se. So it's a very, very big kind of umbrella wherein the responsibility gets equally distributed.
Is this period enough for us to train optimally?
As far as training goes, it's a very, very short period. You can't create athletes of national, international standard in a span of 1.5 years. It's a too less time. But even if if the associations, government would try to put their best foot forward, something concrete could be done. Our team would be able to perform creditably, if not win all the medals that will be at stake, but some creditable performance could be put up. But that will, as I said earlier, will largely depend on how much serious we are about
Everybody that you have mentioned.
About our performance.
Right. There was some school of thought which said can we have the outstation athletes in Goa teams? Do you think that is even a thought to be considered?
No, I will not be. Personally, I'll be against that, because the very objective behind holding the national game was not only to create national international standard infrastructure, but to also raise our standard in terms of the medal tally at the national games. And the Goa National Games is not the only event that we are going to have. We have to look about 10, 20 years ahead. As far as every single sport is concerned, every year there will be senior nationals conducted. Now the boys and girls who will be generally playing for Goa in the Goa National Games ought to be senior players. They couldn't be sub-junior or junior players. If they are, or if they will be massacred at the hands of the other states. So you are supposed to have senior level players who are mature enough physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And that's the reason I said the games are not going to be the first and the last. Every 2 years there are going to be national games. After Goa will be Chhattisgarh. After Chhattisgarh would be Madhya Pradesh. And leaving aside national games, every single year senior nationals are held. So you are judged by your performance at the senior national. The football standard of Goa must be judged by our standard or our performance at the Santosh Trophy. And nothing less than that.
That's
not
also
I League.
dwindling a bit because
To my mind, we should not judge our standard in case of football by our standard at the I League or ISL, but by the standard at Santosh Trophy.
Yeah, my next question naturally is that we have seen that we have been massacred at the senior level, obviously because the reason that our juniors or sub-juniors are competing at the senior level. Why is Goa not able to, come out of this problem for last maybe 10 or more years that I have been in journalism? This same problem has been there for last decade. What's the reason?
It's a very, very big syndrome. You could call it a syndrome for the simple reason that I have been in sports from the year 1971 and have been seeing this problem right in front of my eyes. Somehow the trend in Goa is people don't tend to continue. There is lack of consistency, there is lack of continuity. Yeah. By the time the child is 18, 19, 20, the child thinks about leaving sports. L-E-A-V-I-N-G, leaving sport, whereas the child should be L-I-V-I-N-G, leaving sport. So it's an unfortunate part. While in other states you will see athletes playing at the senior level till the age of 30, 35, 40 or 42. And services is a classic example, and so are railways and Maharashtra, Punjab, Haryana, and couple of other states like Kerala. And you will see our athletes leaving the scenario at the age of 20, 22, maximum 24.
Why isn't that scenario changing, Anna?
That's the mindset one has to talk about. And it has to be inbuilt. The kind of the sense of sacrifice, the sense of belonging. It's my state, I must perform, I must stick to particular sport. Till the age of 40, I'll try and compete at the national, international level, and maybe after 40, I would still devote time, for that particular sport, maybe as an administrator, organizer, coach, or maybe as a spectator. That kind of thinking is somehow absent among the Goan children or Goan youth, and that is contributing to our debacle at the senior national in every single sport, maybe barring baseball and maybe a couple of other sports like taekwondo. Football, again, I want to very candidly say that in the last few years, we have not been able to perform as it was expected. The amount of money that is being pumped into football, the amount of infrastructure that we annually create, every year new playgrounds and stadiums are being done. Compared to that, the performance of our senior football team at the national is not very encouraging.
Right.
Not very encouraging.
So overall, every sport and their administrators, the sports persons, their parents, and all the organizations that you have mentioned, everybody need to introspect, isn't it?
As I'm talking to you, I would like to add sports journalists also to this, family of, sports promoters and sports enthusiasts, because sports journalists also have a huge role to play in motivating a particular sports person to enhance his or her skills. So certain updates written about the performance of a particular child doing well at the state level, zonal level, national and international level goes a long way in motivating the sports person.
In this regard, the national games which is coming up will be a real huge test for all our sports persons, and if they get massacred, probably from there on the new era may start.
It would be a very big eye-opener for the people who are working in this field of sports. And therefore, I say 1.5 year in advance, we will have to be very cautious in every step that we take forward in terms of training, coaching our teams.
For selecting the team.
For, in the first place, selecting the teams by keeping the Goa National Games maybe November 2016 in mind. The growth of the players, the mental and the physical growth of the player will be very important. The maturity of the players in, trying to take the load that will be there, responsibility that will be there while playing with prominent teams like, Maharashtra, Punjab, Haryana, Karnataka, Kerala, the host of them. There will be about 28 states vying for the honors.
Since this team selections and raising up the Goa contingent is responsibility of the Goa Olympic Association, does the DSY and you in your position have will give some inputs to the GOA?
I will not say it is their sole responsibility. I will once again go back to the family, the GOA, the concerned State Sport Association, the Sports Authority of Goa, the sports department, because every single rupee that goes to Sports Authority goes through this department. We try to impress upon the government the necessity of money for, not only promoting sport, but in terms of training and coaching these national games teams. In the same manner we did it for the Lusophonia Games. So there's a big role for everyone. I will not limit it to Goa Olympic Association. If we do that, the Goa Olympic Association as it is not equipped enough to solely take this responsibility. So if all these stakeholders combine well, the job is not too difficult. Absolutely. But lot will depend upon their indulgence, their participation, and the manner in which they will slog. There is a collective responsibility.
Absolutely, rightly said, and thanks for talking to us. Thank you very much. So it's a collective responsibility that we all have to share and help Goa build a strong team and a strong contingent for the upcoming national games that will be held in November 2016 right here in Goa. With that, we come to the end of this program. Thanks for watching. Keep watching Prudent. Goodbye.